Have you ever wanted to look into retro games but aren't sure where to begin? Do you ever wonder which classic games stand the test of time and which ones don't hold up? These are some questions that have been bothering me for a while now, and I think it's about time to do something about it. So I'm going through gaming's history one game at a time to find the best games of all time. Welcome to the Gaming Archaeologist. So as some of you might remember, I did not like GoldenEye 007. Unlike other classics for the N64, many of which I think have aged reasonably well, GoldenEye really doesn't hold up in my opinion, and I found little to like about it. So I was skeptical about Perfect Dark, which is the spiritual successor to GoldenEye. And initially I thought my skepticism was warranted, as Perfect Dark does have some of the same flaws as GoldenEye, in particular the very awkward and wobbly control system. But I found myself getting absorbed into Perfect Dark in a way that I hadn't with GoldenEye. In many ways they're very similar, as both are first-person shooters in which you play as a spy who's on covert missions, but there are a number of things that make Perfect Dark seem better. Part of that has to do with the presentation, which has been noticeably improved. The graphics are still dated, of course, but the visuals manage to build a believable environment that feels like a part of a living, breathing world, rather than just a parade of grey, boring corridors in a video game. The plot of the game is also rather intriguing, and the protagonist comes off like a real character, rather than a blank slate that just does whatever the player tells them to do. The game offers an engaging experience, and while it can be frustrating at times, it's the good kind of frustrating, the kind that makes you want to try even harder and make it through, rather than the kind of frustrating that just makes you want to give up in disgust. It's not without its faults. Sometimes it can be hard to tell where you're supposed to go, and the controls are really awkward and imprecise, an issue that persists throughout the entire game. But I did find things I could appreciate about Perfect Dark, and so while I don't think it holds up too well, there is still fun to be had with it. It's not on the same level as something like Half-Life, but it's a neat little experience that is worth checking out if you're curious about the evolution of first-person shooters. It's not a game I think you need to play, but I can say that it is good enough to warrant a look at. My final score is a 6 out of 10. Honestly, I wanted to like Perfect Dark more than I ended up actually liking it. There were a lot of times where I felt myself getting genuinely immersed, only for the stupid controls to snap me back to the reality that I'm just playing a game. But I did enjoy it a lot more than GoldenEye, so it has that going for it. So what do you think? Have you played Perfect Dark? How do you think it compares to GoldenEye? Whatever your thoughts, be sure to let me know down below in the comments. If you like what I do, feel free to subscribe and follow me on Twitter. The next game I'll be reviewing is Yoshi's Story. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.